Hello, everyone. This is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts, and this is Prehistoric Facts Extra Episode number 111. And so I'm back after a week-long break. I had a bunch of destinations that I had to do for my program, and I was basically on the road for 4 days last week. So it was Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I was on the road for those 4 days, and so I could not get an episode done last week, and so this would have been last week's episode, but it's this week, and so this episode I am going to be talking about a group of theropods known as the Spinosauridae, and so a very well-known dinosaur group, and became very popular in the early 2000s because of Jurassic Park 3, thanks to Spinosaurus, and I'll talk to you about like where does Spinosaurids fit in the family tree of theropods, and of course the characteristics and also the type of species in terms of like where do they belong in the Spinosauridae families, and also talk about like their time range and all that sort of stuff. And so let's actually get started. So where does Spinosaurids fit in the phylogeny of theropods, or otherwise the family tree of theropods? And so where you see all these theropods here, so you got all these different types of theropods here, and so we have all different kinds of theropods. So we got some of the bird-like dinosaurs up here, and then some of them are going to be and we got the Coelurosauria, which is this massive group of theropods. Then you have the Carnosauridae, or the Carnosauridae, or the Allosauridae, if you want to call it that. So it would be, I would say, Carnosauridae, or Allosauridae, excuse me, Allosauridae, where you have allosaurs, and you got the Carcharodontosaurids, of course. And then down here, you have your Megalosauridae right down here, and then, of course, Spinosauridae. And so Spinosauridae belong into the Megalosauria type of group of theropods, and so they branched off of a common ancestor to the Megalosauridae or the Megalosaurini, and pretty much became Spinosaurids, and so that's why Spinosaurids are closely related to the Megalosaurids. And yeah, and you got the Ceratosaurs and the Abelisaurs down here. And so yeah, Spinosaurs fit with the Megalosauridae type of family. And then you have the Spinosauridae family tree or phylogeny, and you can see here in the geologic timescale, it is believed that the Spinosauridae started to show up around the late Jurassic period, and so we don't have that much of fossil material from the Spinosauridae from the Jurassic just yet. There is some indications that we might have, but it's not conclusive just yet. And so we start to see a lot of the Spinosaurids start showing up in the early Cretaceous. And so that's where we begin the early Cretaceous, and we start to see all these different types of Spinosaurs showing up. And so we have your Baryoncinae, and then Baryoncinae, and then of course you have your Spinosauridae right here. And so we have all these different types of Spinosaurs right here. Now the discoveries, and so we have to go all the way back to 1820, where the first Spinosaurid fossil discovered a single tooth was found in England, and so it was discovered by a very a or like a geologist or paleontologist back then. And then it was like 20 or about 21 years later when Sir Richard Owen described that tooth as a as Suchosaurus. But it won't be until the mid 80s is when they actually found out that the Suchosaurus type of fossil might have been a baryonyx relative or baryonyx. And then we actually go to 1912, where we have Ernst Stromer, who discovered and described in 1915 Spinosaurus aegypticus. And so that's where we have Spinosaurus aegypticus showing up in terms of description. And of course, we all know the holotype specimen of Spinosaurus aegypticus got destroyed in 1944 in World War II by an Allied bombing raid in Munich. and the Spinosaurus fossils were destroyed because of the bombings. But it won't be until the late 90s, going into the 2000s, is when we start to see more Spinosaurus material being found, and then we actually get more Spinosaurus stuff along the way. Then we have the mid 1980s. A nearly complete skeleton of Baryonyx walkeri was actually discovered, but right now it's being classified as more likely a juvenile than anything else. But we got Baryonyx in the mid 80s. But then we have the 1990s to now. More Spinosaurids have been discovered and described to science, and there has been multitudes that just keep coming up in the fossil record, and that's why we're having more and more Spinosaurid material being found lately and described. Now, the characteristics of Spinosauridae, they have an elongated skull. So, a skull that is very similar to crocodiles or crocodilians. Uh, and they have, some of them have a notch, some of them will not. And then on the snout, they have these pits on the tip of their snout that is basically for nerve endings to actually be able to sense vibrations in the water. And so they can use that type of sense to be able to detect fish and all that sorts of stuff in water. It's because these are animals that are more likely going to be spending a lot of time near or in water than anything else. And they also have conical teeth with very little or no serrations on their teeth. And so these are going to be very cone shaped teeth. And these are teeth more likely designed for grabbing and hanging on than to rip flesh. And so that is basically what they're going to be doing. That is what they're doing to actually catch their prey, grabbing and hanging on. And also, they have long arms with large claws on three-fingered hands, and so very large claws on their hands and very long arms. Um, some had elongated spines, and some of them did not. And I'll get to that in a bit. And of course, some of their bones are denser compared to other theropods, because most of the theropod dinosaurs, they're because Spinosaur bones are still going to be hollow. It's just that they're more dense compared to other theropods, where the other theropods have either very like thin-walled hollow bones, or otherwise still thick enough, but still not as dense as the Spinosaurids. And so the Spinosaurids have more dense bones compared to the other theropods. And also, in recent discovery uh, has been published not too long ago, suggesting is that some Spinosaurids probably did have salt glands in their skull. And so that is actually a really neat discovery right there, is that some Spinosaurids probably did have these salt glands, or maybe majority of them had salt glands. We do not know. We do not know yet. We know this only from Spinosaurus and a couple of other Spinosaurid type of species, and so that's what we actually have so far. So salt glands is probably going to be present in some Spinosaurids. So we get to the one group of Spinosaurids, and that is the Baryonychinae. Baryonychinae, and so this includes like dinosaurs like Baryonyx, Ebrospinus, Suchomimus, Riporovenator, Ceratoseucops, and Riohavanatrix. And so these are Spinosaurids that are not going to have a tall spine on their back. They're not going to have a tall spine, not going to have a sail. These look like very generic theropod dinosaurs. And so they still have the elongated snout. They have a little bit of a crest on top of their head. Still have the long arms with the three-fingered large claws, and of course they're a little bit more taller stanced than say the other group of Spinosaurids that we'll talk about later. And so a lot of these guys are mostly going to be found in like Europe, Africa, and that's where most of the Baryonychinaes have been found, is basically in Europe and Africa. But there has been some indications that there might be some Baryonychinaes that might have been in South America and possibly in other parts in the world, but no Spinosaurids were found in North America or even in Australia and Antarctica. Then we have the Spinosauridae, and so these are the larger uh, types of Spinosaurs. So that includes Irritator, Ichthyovenator, Valabona, Valabona, Valabona venatrix. Valabona venatrix. I know it's a tongue twister. Then we have Spinosaurus aegypticus and recently described Spinosaurus mirabilis. And so these are going to be Spinosaurs that will have taller spines on their back and even on their tail, so that gives them that sail. They're also going to be a little bit more lower to the ground than the Baryonychines, and you also have like larger skulls, larger teeth, and the claws are much bigger, and so that's what we get for the Spinosauridae, is that they have these taller spines on their back and even parts of their tail. You also have larger skulls, heavier body weight, lower to the ground type of theropod dinosaurs. So they have shorter legs. Some of them still have long legs. It's just that when we look at, like, say, and Spinosaurus mirabilis and possibly Ichthyovenator had shorter legs, shorter hind legs than compared to the Baryonychines. The geologic time range that the Spinosaurids actually lived around. So majority of them are going to be living in 140 to 94 million years ago. So that's the early to late Cretaceous period. Fossils are found in Africa, Europe, South America, and even parts of India and even some parts in Southeast Asia. Now, like I said, we do not have any fossils of Spinosaurids found in North America and also in Australia and Antarctica. So those Spinosaurids have been found in those places. Spinosaurids more likely did not make it to North America. They more likely did just stay in mostly in the southern hemisphere, but then you got some that were found in Europe, and so a lot of the Baryonychinids are very common in Europe, whereas the Spinosauridae are mostly common in South America and also, of course, in Africa. And that's where we're going to find a lot of the Spinosaurids. And then the extinction of the group is more likely due to climate change. So a lot of these Spinosaurids did not make it past 94 million years ago. And it's mostly because the habitats were lost, likely due to droughts, and also sea levels rose. And so when we look at 94 million years ago, the sea levels were already starting to get higher and higher. And so the Earth was actually going to be, majority of Earth was going to be water, a lot more water than what we actually see right now. And then when we look at what we have happen here too, is that a lot of these because a lot of these Spinosaurs, they're very niche types of predatory animals, very niche or specialized. Because they're specialized animals, they need to be near like water systems, and when those water systems are gone, they don't have anything to be able. They don't have any place to go, and so in the higher elevations they can't survive there, and then of course they need to be in places where they're going to be near water and also lower levels of elevation, and so that's where they're mostly going to be living in. And so yeah, that habitat was lost due to climate change. But then you have the abelisaurids and megaraptorids also that started to take over. The megaraptorids more likely took over what the spinosaurids did in terms of a niche, which is being specialized to capture like fish and some smaller animals. Megaraptorids did do that more likely. Abelisaurids did still kind of did do that as well. It's just that the abelisaurids are still more likely going to be land animals, whereas the megaraptorids, they're still going to be land animals, but they did live in water areas oftentimes, and so yeah, and so that's what happened. And so a lot of these Spinosaurs actually ate fish and smaller animals. They were not going to go after large animals because the large animals were very difficult for them to be able to take down. So they were not able to take down sauropods unless if it's a hatchling, uh, or even like very large iguanodontids. They were not going to get the large iguanodontids unless if it's a juvenile, so on and so forth. And so that's what happens, is that the Spinosaurids got outcompeted, and also their environment, their habitat was lost due to climate change. And also, I wanted you guys to tell me, out of any of the Spinosaurids that I actually talked about here, and also look at the Spinosaurid like list of names. Let me know which ones you want me to do for a future special episode. Because remember, any species that I'm going to cover has to be done in a special episode. If you want me to talk about a group of dinosaurs or any type of group of prehistoric animals, I can do it in a extra episode like this one. So if you want me to describe to you a type of species of prehistoric animal, let me know in terms of the comments down below, or even otherwise email it to me, uh, or even on Facebook in the comments, to let me know what kind of like prehistoric animal you want me to do it for a special episode, especially for a Spinosaurid. What type of Spinosaurids you want me to cover for a future special episode, and I can write it down on the list, and and I can talk to you about that type of Spinosaurid and other prehistoric animal. And so let's move on. And so the next episode will be on July 2nd, 2026, and that'll be a special episode. So let me know and I'll let you guys know what kind of prehistoric animal I'm going to do. And so I'll look through the list and I'll actually decide which one I can do for a special episode. And so you can still send me requests of a prehistoric animal you want me to talk about. It's got to be a vertebrate. So it's got to be a vertebrate. So dinosaur, reptile, mammal, amphibian, fish, you name it. So let me know in the comments down below what kind of prehistoric animal you want me to do for a type of special episode. But this one, I'll let you guys know which one I'm going to do. But you can still send me questions about dinosaurs and other prehistoric life by emailing me at dinochrist71@gmail.com. Or just go to my Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts with Dino Chris. Like the page, yes, you post your questions in the comment section. Please put them in the comment section. Don't put them on Messenger. Messengers are private conversations only. So please put your questions in the comment section on any Facebook posts. And also for you YouTubers out there, like the videos, subscribe to the channel. According to my analytics, a lot of you guys are checking out my channel and not subscribed yet, so please feel free to hit that subscribe button and also hit the like button on the videos, because that's how the YouTube algorithm works. The more likes the video gets, the more likely the video gets spread out to people interested in dinosaurs, prehistoric life, paleontology, and geology in general, so please feel free to do so. And also share the video, share the channel to anybody that is interested in dinosaurs, prehistoric life, paleontology, and geology in general, so please feel free to do so. And also hit that notification bell so that we can get weekly notifications of every video that comes out. And also, if you go on my channel, you go on the post tab, I post updates on videos, even paleontology news, mostly in the dinosaur news cycle. And of course, I post polls every 3 days on the channel, and so that way you guys can participate in the polls. And you guys are awesome at participating in the polls. It's great. And also, for you YouTubers out there, leave your questions in the comments section, because I do read them all. All of you guys are sending me questions via email, Facebook, and YouTube. You guys are awesome. Give me some great questions for the Q&A episodes to keep up the great work. And also make sure you keep your questions short and to the point. You can also follow me on Instagram at dino.chris.pf. I post pretty cool stuff on there. You can also follow me on Threads, same thing, at dino.chris.pf. I post pretty cool stuff on there as well. Also, take care of the people around you. Also, for younger people out there, make sure listening to your parents, your teachers, and your guardians. It's the best motivation you can have for a good education. It's very important to have a good education. So with a good education, get a good job in the future. That's it for now, and I'll see you guys next time.